Good afternoon. Morning, afternoon, I just keep making videos because I have a little bit of time. I'm just having my post-lunch coffee and sitting beside Julia, who's watching the leaves, making sure they don't come in the windows. My watch cat. She's very alert. Anyway, I was going to make this video with my iPad, but I hadn't used it in a while and it was totally not turning on, so I'm charging it. So I decided to just make a video with my phone like I did before. Right. So I'm done the afternoon class, morning, afternoon, all done. So I just need to do the evening class, which is now so much easier because now there's just a higher multi-level to work with, and I just have to do one class instead of two classes. So that's just way nicer. Did I show you my Crown Royal bag? So that's how I keep my iPad from getting dusty. It's in its protective cover, and then I put it in the Crown Royal bag, and I put it in my little bookshelf here. So, yes, it continues to not reach 10 degrees, so it's not that warm outside, but hey, thank you, machine, for stopping your backup. It finished its backup. It was backing up and making noises. Chug, 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 chugging noises. Okay, don't. I'm just looking at Facebook here. I was looking at Facebook, yes, and I thought, hey, why don't I make a video while I'm looking at Facebook? Because, I don't know, I have Facebook as a part of my daily routine. Which reminds me, I just remembered something. I was going to write an email to some people who wanted to help us out at the school, but Nancy and I decided, no, I'm just patting your tail because it's such a cute tail. Check out those fingers. What are they doing? Now she's going to sit on my iPad. Yeah. She's stepping on my iPad. She's making sure it stays where I put it. Thank you, Julia, for stepping on my iPad. Anyway, now she's lying with her butt on my iPad. Can you stop playing here? This is not a playing area. She's in playful mood. Oh, now she's eating her mat. Because you're in that kind of a mood, aren't you? Yeah. Okay. They volunteer. These are the church people. And they volunteer. These are the church people. No. Oh, God. I'm terrible. Yes. She just gave me a look. The church, some church ladies wanted to once a month get together with some of our students and have a sort of a conversational circle. A half an hour coffee time or something like that. Yeah, that might be good, but we have to do it during school time. And Nancy and I figured, we've got schoolwork to do. If you want to chat with our students, do it outside of school time. So we sort of agreed to not do it. So you've mussed up the mat and now you're sitting on it. But nobody's answered them. I'm sure Nancy hasn't sent an email back because she doesn't do emails that much. And I just keep on forgetting about it. So I should send an email. Yes. Facebook. I like Facebook. I like it's got some interesting features. It keeps me in touch with various people that I would ordinarily not be that in touch with, or it keeps me in touch with relatives and friends who are far away. It's also annoying because some people are annoying, as we all know. So you see every facet of everybody's personality. So my quiet little friend, she pops up every now and then, and she, just puts a like on something or posts something personal, and that's, kind of cool. But other people are constantly posting. Okay, let me tell you, they're constantly posting food. Now, food, when you're doing it personally, is one thing. But when you're going to Martha Stewart and saying, oh, that's an interesting pizza recipe. Ooh, that's a this. Ooh, this is it. Posting other people's things constantly. One thing to show an interest in something. Hey, there's this interesting thing that I saw. Look at it. I love those things, But day in, day out, 10 times a day you post something you saw, some food that piqued your stomach. I really wish you wouldn't. Because not everybody's interested in the same food things that you're interested in. So why do you keep on pushing these things at us, basically? Now, you don't think of that when you're doing it, but yeah, that's what you're doing. Anyway, I'm not going to stop following those people because they have other interesting things that some of them I stop following, okay? But I really like the people who post things about themselves that they did. So there's one guy that he's a YouTuber that I follow. Gunnarolla is his name. He did the Canadian Please song, and he's from Ontario. He's from Toronto, and he was recently sponsored to go to Europe, to Vienna, Krakow, various different cities across Europe, and give his impression of those cities and stuff like that. That's fascinating. Then there's, I know someone in Great Britain. She posts stuff from her neighborhood. Then I follow I don't follow a lot of non-personal, non-people posts, but there's this grammar site on Facebook that I started following. They kind of post funny things about grammar, which I occasionally share on my timeline. So there's something from them. And then I follow ASAP Science, both in YouTube and on Facebook. And then there's my nephew showing, he lives in Holland, and he's showing some pictures of how he showed some neighbors and some relatives' kids how to carve pumpkins. So that's cool. In Holland, they don't have Halloween to the same extent as we do, but he showed them how, and they thought it was really fun. Here's a former student of mine who lives around here in Cambridge, and her husband is a musician, and so she's showing me some pictures of her husband performing last night. And then there's the guy that took the pictures at my daughter's wedding, who I'm friends with, and he's reminding people that there's ball hockey today. And then there's a former co-worker of mine who recently started a bar. Opened a bar in Brantford. So not only am I friends with her, but I'm also following her bar, which is on Facebook. So that's kind of cool. So she posted something from that. Then here's a guy I know in Israel. low battery. A guy I know in Israel who's posting some pictures. There's my post from yesterday on my son's birthday. So that's the end of my. I like to have not most popular posts. I like to follow them time wise. I like the timeline to be a timeline. So I always look at Facebook on what is most recent. So that's why I'm to my own post from yesterday. So I look back, see what I did. Okay, yeah, there's this. There's someone who posts some food posts just because he's a guy who loves to eat. He's in Portugal. I'm sure you know him. Well, perhaps not. But we see his interesting food that he makes himself, which is kind of cool because he makes his food himself. And then we see stuff about motorcycles. There's more of his food. And then there's a former student of mine, another former student who works at my former mechanics. And he's very into Brazilian politics right now because there's a lot happening there. So we see political posts from him. There's the motorcycle from David. And then there's more stuff from him. Then there's my grammar site, and they're posting grammar errors on typos when you're texting errors from various phones. Then there's Liz. Liz posted her pictures of lovely, really gorgeous photos from her new neighborhood. No, these are great pictures from the countryside around where she lives now. So that's kind of cool. Then there's another former student of mine posting some funny pictures from something in, where are they from? One of them is from Romania. Another one's from, is she Czech? I can't remember. So they're same-sex couple who live, again, somewhere around here, and they do lots of language that I don't understand posts. And obviously they're funny because some of them look like they're funny. Very rarely do they have anything English, but they're cool. I like following them, and I like seeing what's going on in their family. So I follow them. There's my friend who posts food and wine, or Martha Stewart, or rarely her own. Food. Then we've got, there's another joke from Grammarly. And then there's my girlfriend's best friend, who is also a friend of mine, Louise, who lives in all the way to the east of Toronto. See, now that dropped, and it dropped on my iPad. See what happens when you play with these things instead of just sitting on them peacefully? Yeah. So, there's a former student of mine, or a long time ago, posting a picture of herself with someone else, but because she doesn't make a comment on it, she just posted the picture, we don't know where it is. And then everyone who's commenting on it is commenting in Lithuanian, or these are former students of mine as well, and then friends of hers. And I think that's Russian. And something nice, you won something? I don't know, I couldn't tell. She's also questioning because she doesn't know either, because if you don't post what the picture's about, then we don't know. But that's okay. It's nice seeing your face. So that's cool. And then there's a former student of mine posting something, some family thing, but it's from somebody else's, so I don't know anybody. because I didn't see any of her kids in there. Then there's my student from Brazil who is posting stuff about Brazil. And then there's a student, former student, who went back to Italy posting something about Italy. And then there's my friend Gail at Large, who used to live in Vancouver, who comes from Vancouver, whose family is Filipino, who I met through another another YouTuber or blogger. Yes, a blogger. And then he stayed at her house. He was the guy who said, "Let me stay for a day," and he traveled around the world on nothing, just staying at people's houses and never paying anything. And he traveled so far. He's from Holland. Ramon Stoplenberg. Anyway, she was one of his. I forget what that called what that's called when you host someone. She hosted him, and through him, me following him, I ran into her, found out that she was a blogger as well, and then I started following her, and then she moved from Vancouver to the States, to Toronto, and now she's moved to Portugal. And I staunchly am still following her, but I did meet her a few times when she lived here in Toronto. So one of the few world bloggers that I have actually met, which was kind of cool. So I really love Facebook because of the way it can bring my whole far-flung world and acquaintances together on one site. Kind of cool. Right, Julia? Even you are on here. People know you. You can slide. She's in a mood. You're going to fall. There. At least you're in the picture, right? I saved you. I saved you. I saved you from falling. Horrors. Okay, let me finish my coffee. She would love to get behind my computer. She always tries to get behind my computer. But I've got it blocked off. So now she's going to sit on my keyboard. Not a good thing. That's the printer. She likes it when the printer runs and spits out papers. Now she's going to sit on my printer. Ta for now, folks. Have a good one.